Welcome into an NFL Draft Player Spotlight. Locked On NFL Draft coverage is presented by Ultimate Football GM. If you think you can run an NFL franchise, you can prove it. Visit ultimate-gm.com to play the ultimate NFL GM simulation game. Start your dynasty today. I'm Kainani Stevens, and with Daniel Monroe, we've been chopping it up because there's lots of Bulldogs expected to be heading to the NFL. And we are going to talk about Nolan Smith now because there's a lot of athletic people on Georgia's team. He's athletic. He does some cool stuff. He's intriguing to see what he'll be able to do at the next level. What is an NFL team fans gonna see when they draft him to their team?
There can't have been a player that elevated his draft stock more at the combine than Nolan Smith, right? Surely. Injured the last half of this last season, and so you got plenty of on the field tape from him, certainly, playing on some really good teams, some really good defenses. But he's not a stat sheet guy, he's not a massive quarterback pressures guy. He's not a massive quarterback hits, quarterback sacks guy, which is why the people that are down on him for being a top half of the first round draft pick are down on him. And I understand that. But I think the consistency that he plays with and his ability to set an edge makes him an insanely valuable edge piece of a defense in the NFL. I think he's got a lot of strength. And I think the combine showed that he has an insane amount of speed, and then he really has great technique in terms of being able to play in the run game, set the edge, disrupt the pocket, maybe not necessarily with quarterback pressures, quarterback hits all the time in his career. But, to be fair, Trayvon Walker was barreling in on the quarterback, and Nakobe Dean was barreling in on the quarterback. There's just a lot of... Only one guy can hit the quarterback at a time most plays. And so I do think he's got a lot of elite physical traits. But I honestly think that his character and his personality are even more exciting than that for an NFL team. If an NFL team's going to love... the way Philadelphia Eagles fans feel about Jordan Davis, I think is the way that an NFL team's fans are going to feel about Nolan Smith.
It's very high praise.
Yeah.
Interesting. For people knocking him, saying, his frame is maybe a little bit different than that position necessarily is, in terms of just being a little thinner, maybe wiry. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is that a fair knock? He's so fast and he's got so many other skills. Is that something that could hurt him at the next level just because everybody's so much bigger? Or do you think he can work around it?
Yeah, I think it's not. It's fair in terms of it is true the way that he compares physically to other people at the position. But I'm a guy that I'd make a terrible NFL GM because I'm a guy that watches a lot of tape. I prefer to watch people play football when evaluating if they're good at playing football. And when you watch Nolan Smith play football, he uses that wiry frame to really disrupt and play with a ton of physicality. He obviously has some explosive chase down ability on the outside. We saw that in the national championship game. 2 years ago when he was playing, he didn't play this past season, obviously, because of injury, but 2 years ago against Alabama, we saw some of that, huge third down. Bryce Young's running for a first down towards the goal line, and he's just got it easily. And Nolan Smith comes flying in from nowhere, makes the stop on the sidelines, and a huge turning point, big play in the game. Tons of moments like that he has, but then, as I said, he is an elite. He's elite at setting the edge. He's elite at using his body in the run game, and plays with a lot more physicality than when you cut the tape on than a lot of people his size do. And so, is it a fair knock? Technically, yes, but in terms of football playing ability, I think probably not.
Obviously, he's tough. Are injuries a concern? Do you feel like they were just situational? Is that the way he plays he might be a little more prone to, or in terms of durability?
No, I mean, I think this, this injury kind of is the big injury for him. He's not been a guy that's been riddled with injuries, I wouldn't say. He has gotten dinged up before in his career, but not a guy that has been absolutely riddled. Had the kind of the catastrophic injury this season on a play. And, I think that's why that combine was so huge for him, because you hadn't seen him play in, whatever, 4 or 5 months. And you really didn't know what those legs were like, how he had progressed in his rehab. And then he comes out and, he runs the 4.2 and he looks great in all the change of directions and the mobility drills. And it looks like he hasn't missed a beat. And so I would say recovery from this injury shouldn't be a concern based on everything we can see. We're not doctors, but everything we can see. And then I wouldn't call him an injury-prone player at all, so I wouldn't say that's a concern.
Very good. If he's back to what he was before, it'll be good to see him in training camp once he is drafted and he has his new NFL home. Daniel has all you need to know about Georgia players as they head to the next level on Locked On Bulldogs. All of this has been a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.